Hello, and welcome to another edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. Today, I'm going to go over something that we have gone over in some capacity, I'm going to say several times before, but we've done a few videos on this. But I'm going to go into it again because we've made updates, because that's kind of our thing around here. We just make updates, right? Updates that make your life easier. That's the idea. So, without further ado, let's go into the DeltaNet. Now what I'm going to go over is custom contact form pages. So here we are on the welcome page. Now if I'm going to make a custom page, I'll go down to Website and Pages. There we go. And now here I'm going to create a new page because we're going to do a custom page. So new page. It's going to take it under advisement. There we go. And you can see the tab we have selected here by default is already the custom tab. You may have noticed that the DeltaNet's very fancy today, by the way. Isn't that fancy? Looks nice. This one's coming. It's not technically live yet, but this DeltaNet will be coming soon to a back end near you. So it's pretty cool. You're getting a look behind the curtain today. Anyway, so here we are on custom page, and in this case, I am looking to make a page with a contact form. So I'm going to go down here. You see we have an option to make the page viewable to only registered users if we want, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for a contact form page, so I'm going to say add a contact form to web page content section. I can then decide which side of the page I want it to appear on, right or left, so we'll go ahead and leave it on right, why not? I can choose the contact form type now, so this is where the change comes in. You've always been able to choose your type of contact form, which just basically controls some defaults on the form. But now these specific contact form types will be associated with their own kinds of autoresponders. So you see we have general with address, selling information, buying information, and real estate career. So general and general with address are basically the same thing, only general with address has more fields on it. We'll go ahead and select that one, see what it looks like. We give it a aptly named contact form title with some contents. I can't type, some contents. There we go. We'll leave our checkboxes on the form so you can see what those look like, but know that there's a checkbox here that you can use to remove those. And we'll leave the page type on standard for now, but you can also turn these into squeeze pages, which is kind of cool. So either a branded or an unbranded squeeze page is what I'm going to call it. Basically, a standard page with no navigation would be like a branded squeeze page. So it shows your whole page template, but there's no navigation, so they can't get off of this page without filling out your form. Squeeze page takes the template away completely, so the only thing that a customer will see when they get to this page is just your content, as you've entered it down here, and your contact form. So we'll go ahead and standard page, and I'll go down here and I'll say this is some content, and we'll go ahead and put a picture in here, why not? See if I have any pictures. I do. Let's go with this one. It's a picture of the circuit board of a game controller if you were curious. Anyway, so there we go. We've put our content together. And the good idea for content would be, for a page like this could be like even a contest page. So you could put a bunch of information and banners about your contest here, and then your contact form would be like a sign-up form for the contest. So that is one thing you could do with these. So now as we scroll down, we're going to have it show under our primary domain. So whatever domain name you have selected as your primary is the one that this page will use. If you had multiples, you could select those here. So let's say you had a domain that you wanted to specifically have related to buying and a different one specifically related to selling. You could make this a selling page with a bunch of information about, geared towards sellers. Label your form as a seller's form and use the form type seller form, and use your seller domain when you select it here. So keep going down the page. You can add some data to the end of the page, but this is not something that'll fit a lot for a contact form page, but if you have sold listings entered into the system, you could have them tacked on to the end of the page. Or there's an Atlas Home Finder that's kind of a remnant of the old system. Moving on. Your link title, if you want to put a link to this page in your navigation, whatever you type here, my form page, is what that link will be that people will click on to get to this page. We'll add it to the navigation menu and the bottom links. Why not do both, right? Page title is going to appear in the top of the browser, and also it's picked up by search engines. So it's a good idea to make the page title something very brief that describes, what your page is. It's also not a terrible idea to have your name, brokerage name, and even the area in there, depending on what the page is for. So if this was like a contest page, for example, you would want to put my name, contest page, and put the name of the contest in there, so that when somebody brings up this page, so if they're searching for it and it pops up on Google, in the search results, that's going to be what they click on to get to the page. So meta description is similar, but it can be much longer, and it's designed to be a descriptor of the page. We have some videos that go over meta descriptions, and there's a lot of resources online to give you good ideas there. But basically, it is a 165-character description of the page. So, don't try to shove a bunch of keywords in there, just write something understandable in there, and the rest will usually take care of itself. My fancy form page. Meta keywords are just for keywords, separated by commas, but search engines don't really use it anymore. So it doesn't hurt to enter them, but it probably doesn't really help you either. Form, page. And now we can give the page URL. We can put our own custom URL here. So I'll say my form page. But you would make this something like / followed by the name of the contest. The way this works is it's going to be whatever domain you have selected up here, followed by whatever you have here. So you need to have that / and then whatever you want the URL or the specific path to this page to be. And lastly, we hit submit. Here we go. Now that our page has reloaded, it should show up down here. You can see the last thing here is my form page. I'll go ahead and embed that under my Contact Me in the drop-down and save it. And what that's going to do is put it in a drop-down menu under Contact Me. But you can drag it anywhere you want, and that's where it will appear in your navigation. All right. Let's take a look at our page and see what we've got. So Contact Me, you see under that we have a link to my form page. And if I scroll down here, can't see it because of the way the colors are set up here, but there's my form page. So the fact that I selected it to show up as a bottom link is why it shows up down here. And the fact that I selected it to show up in the navigation menu and put it where I wanted it is why it shows up here at the top. So we'll click on it and see what we've got. And there we go. So here's all my page content on the left, and then here is my contact form along with the address information. So if I select just general contact form without address, this address, city, state, zip code, all that stuff will be cleared out. If I check the box to remove the checkboxes, as odd as that sounds, all of these checkboxes under services of interest will be removed. Contact form title that I just entered as title shows up here at the top, and the comments show up as like default comments here. The nice thing about this is you can put in some default comments, and the customers generally won't delete the comments that are already there. They may add to them, but they usually won't delete what's there. So it gives you a good idea of what contact form they came from that way. And then by default, they also include the reCAPTCHA box here, just to prevent spammers from using this. So there we go. Let's go back into the DeltaNet. All right, so now, as we've seen, we have general and general with address. Like I said, general just gets rid of those address sections, and then hide checkbox options gets rid of those checkboxes. But the real interesting ones here is we also have selling information, buying information, and real estate career. So let's say I wanted to make this a selling information form. So I want to gear this whole page to sellers. I'm going to make this selling information. I'll get rid of the checkboxes because I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're interested in selling because it's a selling form on a selling page. And I'll go down here and submit. It's going to take its time. It's thinking about it. There we go. So we'll go back to my form page and I'll refresh it. Man, I picked the slow internet room today. There we go. All right, so you see the form's very similar. Cut out all the rest of those fields, but left these in. So this is just someone basically making an inquiry about selling. So here's where this gets special, and this is what we've added to this system since the last time we did one of these videos. If I go back into the DeltaNet, I can go down to Preferences, Email Messages, and I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to do Control F, and I'm going to say Buying. There we go. So now, every time somebody fills out a contact form for the first time on your site, so they're making their very first request, the system will create a portfolio account for them. And when it creates that account, it'll send them an autoresponder that we call a new portfolio autoresponder, because that's what they are. They're a new portfolio account. So what we've done is we've added a autoresponder specific to each form type. So as we scroll through here, so we have new portfolio autoresponder from request. So that's if somebody does like a, they make a showing request or they request information on a listing, and it creates a portfolio account for them off of that other request. This is the general new portfolio autoresponder. So what it'll do is, if it's just a general type form, like your regular contact form, or you set a general form there, it's going to use this autoresponder form to send back information, or to send the email back to them. So this is the autoresponder they'll get. If you made it a selling form, they get this autoresponder. So that way, if you've made this form specific because you're interested in pulling in sellers on this form, instead of them getting the same autoresponder that like a buyer would get, they can get their own customizable autoresponder. Now as we go down here, same goes for buying form. So we have the buying form. If you had made that a buying form, then this is the autoresponder they would get. And lastly, if you had made it a career form, this is the autoresponder they'll get. So that way each of those form types can get their own completely customized autoresponder that really better engages with the customer, because the autoresponder you're sending them when they sign up indicates to them that you know what they signed up for, you know? So it looks less like an autoresponder. It looks more like you've actually seen the type of request they've made and you've acknowledged that, and that's the information that the system is sending them. So that's what makes these so special. You know, instead of just getting, we've created a portfolio account on your website so that you can sign in and save listings. Well, you know, if somebody's interested in selling, they're not really interested in that. So this way, they can get their own autoresponder where you say, thank you for making a selling request on my website, and I hope that I can help you with all of your selling needs. So it's just a matter of better engaging with the customer by gearing your responses and your content to the kind of thing that they're interested in. So to make the changes, let's say on that selling form, I would go here. I would modify this however I see fit. I'll click here, Update New Portfolio Autoresponder, and that'll save it. And then from that point on, anyone who fills out the form on my new page will get that autoresponder. All right. So, as always, thanks a lot for joining me this week. I hope that you learned a lot about creating custom pages and creating contact form pages. If there's anything else we could do, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to comment on our video, or give us a call, or send an email to support@deltagroup.com, and we will answer any of your questions. If you want to get notifications for when these new videos come on, feel free to like our Facebook channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get those notifications. You'll know every time I go live. That's pretty exciting, right? All right. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I will see you next week.